So, Islam Makhachev recently became the UFC welterweight champion, and as a consequence, he has entered the GOAT talks. Now, I know a lot of you guys have had Islam in your GOAT talks for a while, but this definitely puts him in the GOAT talk for anyone. You can't leave him out of it. If you look at his championship stats, guys, he has the lightweight championship and he has the welterweight championship. So he's the 10th double champ in the history of the UFC. He has 4 successful title defenses at lightweight, and he has 5 lightweight title fight wins, which is tied for the most in that division. On top of that, he's tied Anderson Silva's UFC record of 16 straight wins. So he's starting to slowly take over on all the statistics. But the question is he the GOAT? Is he the best fighter in the history of the UFC? And in order to answer that question, I think we're going to have to look at the other GOATs of the UFC. So moving on to Jon Jones. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't like Jon Jones. Understandable. We know what he's done outside of the octagon, but inside of the octagon, he has the most UFC title fight wins in history, the most UFC title defenses at light heavyweight, and he's defeated legends like DC, Rampage Jackson, Shogun Rua, Lyoto Machida. He's versed some big names. He's also the youngest UFC champion ever, and he also is a 2-division UFC champion. In my opinion, Jon Jones is... It's complicated because of all the scandals he's had, the cheating, the drugs, the criminal activities. But if we're looking at purely performance-wise and what he's done in the octagon, I do think that he's been a bit more dominant, a bit more clean with the striking, a bit more well-rounded, and just a bit more entertaining than Islam Makhachev. Whether or not that makes him more of the GOAT than Islam is up to you guys, but that's just my take on Jon Jones. Now for everyone's favorite UFC fighter, the person no one can hate on, GSP. He has 2 division titles as well, welterweight and middleweight, 9 successful title fight defenses, 13 UFC title fight wins, second longest title reign in welterweight history, and the only 2 losses he ever had, he avenged them. So he got his leg back. So for me, GSP is the epitome of a well-rounded mixed martial artist outside of the cage and inside of the cage. You know, how he lives his personal life reflects how he performs in the octagon. He's an inspiration to many, and he has a very similar well-roundedness style of Islam. You know, he can strike, but he can also wrestle. And he was a lot more aggressive on the ground and overall more entertaining to watch. So he definitely has to be in your top 3 GOAT list in any generation, in any era. He could have fought in any timeline and always been the champion. Now for Anderson Silva. Man, Anderson Silva in his prime was really that guy. He is the UFC middleweight champion with the longest reigning title reign in history, 2,457 days. That's nearly 7 years as champion, and he wasn't an inactive champion. He was defending that title. He has 10 successful title defenses, which is the middleweight record, and 11 total title fight wins, as well as the 16-fight UFC win streak. Now let's get something clear. Islam didn't break this record. He's only tied it. So Anderson still holds this record, and he was the only person to hold it for almost a decade. So Anderson Silva's a generational trendsetter athlete. If you ask a lot of UFC champions who their inspiration was, including Jon Jones, you'll say Anderson Silva. He really had the most entertaining and unique fighting style, and I'm still so upset that he got too cocky against Chris Weidman, because he could have really gone on a much longer streak, in my opinion. He just got too cocky. He didn't lose because the other guy was better. He lost because, you know, he was just so good, he thought that he was unbeatable. But unfortunately, at this level, the smallest mistake, you can lose it all. He's still in the GOAT conversation though. So Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, man, y'all really sleep on my boy DJ. He is one of the defensively and most technically sound fighters, if not the most ever. Just go and look at his defensive stats. This guy was basically untouchable for 6 years. He has the longest title reign in UFC flyweight history, 11 consecutive title defenses, and has held the UFC flyweight championship for more or less 6 years. Now remember, these stats are only limited because Dana White traded him for Ben Askren. If he was in the UFC for longer, he definitely would have had more impressive stats. Not that these are not impressive, these are insanely impressive, but he probably would have had more title defensive and held the championship for even longer. So for me, Demetrious Johnson absolutely 100% has to be in the GOAT conversation. So do I think that Islam is the GOAT? I think not yet. I'm not saying no, he's 100% not. There's no way you can put in there. I'm saying not yet. What I think Islam has to do in order to become the GOAT or have a very strong claim as the GOAT is he has to beat Ilia Topuria. Why? Ilia Topuria knocked out Volkanovski, who was considered the featherweight GOAT. He knocked out Max Holloway, who held the featherweight title as well, and he knocked out Charles Oliveira, who was a UFC lightweight champion at some point. You know, he has a crazy 3-fight KO streak, and he's also a double champion. And it's the most interesting matchup to make right now in the sport. So I think that if Islam puts Ilia Topuria away convincingly, as in he submits him, because he's not going to knock him out, but if he submits him within the 5 rounds and defends his welterweight title once, I think he only needs to defend it once, you know, to be a real champion at welterweight, and he beats Ilia Topuria, then he definitely is holding a very strong claim to being the greatest fighter in mixed martial arts history. So we'll see what happens in his future, but for me, Islam is definitely top 5 of all time, and you guys can let me know if you agree in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.